Good morning, this is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and the Pepper Master, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Well, good morning and hello, kids, and welcome to Season 3 and episode number 283 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. Yeah. Today, recording day is Friday, December 22nd, 2023, for broadcast on Thursday, December 28th. 2023, and I am your host, the Eager Beaver, pronounced he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver A. We continue today with our little bit of year in review, talking about personalities and stories that have made a mark with us over the course of the year. With me, as always, is my good friend, Mr. Grizzly. A big thank you goes to our podcast funding sponsors, the Pepper Master, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. But before we move into our review, part 2, let's do the most important thing we do here at the Beaver Lounge every day, and that's ask Mr. Grizzly. Mr. Grizzly, how's your mental health doing today, sir?
Well, in all honesty, little frazzled. I'm tired. It's been a long day editing, working. I took 3 hours out to, refresh, get a bite to eat. And as you know, we've had some tech challenges, and they do weigh heavy on the mind, body, and soul. So, yeah, I'm a little frazzled, but you know what? It's the name of the game. It's just something that happens in this industry. We have tech issues, tech concerns. It's never going to be perfect. We just muscle on through. So
Absolutely.
all things considered, I'm doing pretty good, but I am tired. I'm not going to lie. I am tired. So, that's okay.
Yeah. I'm a bit tired too, to be totally honest. This is the first time now that we have managed in the old space that we were doing our episodes to get the microphone and the camera and the light working all at the same time, except I've got this weird shadow that's trying to cut off half of my face. But given that everything's working, I am not going to touch a thing right now, and I'm even not going to try to breathe too hard during this episode.
We'll figure out that stuff later.
Because I just went for about 20 minutes of turning on the light and the camera disappeared. So
Tell me something, sir. Is that a VCR in the background I see on the chair there?
That is indeed a VCR in the background you see in the chair there. My Beaver sweetie caught hold of some old videotapes of his time back in Romania, particularly with his grandparents, that were on
Okay.
PAL video.
Oh,
and they found a way to be able to convert them back so he can digitize them, and then he'll be able to put them on CD and various things to be able to get them to the rest of his family. So we're in the process of copying about 22 different
wow,
videos.
that's a lot. Yeah,
Yes, that will
that's a
be a
lot of
lot.
work.
And this
Trust me, I know.
VCR is, yes, is a loaner, so we do have to get it back by a certain time. So we're
And
trying to do it as quickly as humanly possible.
and it has to be done in real time.
It has to be
Real time. Like
they all
there's
have to
no
play.
shortcuts. Yeah. You
Yeah,
have to
it's
press
like when
play,
you're
hit record. Yeah.
it's like
It's a
when
lot of work.
all that digital music came on and you had your old CD collection and you want to upload it, you had to play them all,
Yeah.
beginning to end, which I never did because I had a collection of over 1,000 CDs, and I said, I just don't have the time.
Well, and you know, I started to digitize some of my vinyl a few years ago. I bought some software and it's done in real time. And one of the aspects of the software was I could, you know, if there's any sort of scratches or ticks or anything, pops, clicks, I could remove that. And I did for about 4 or 5 albums. And I said, this is a full-time job. I don't have time to do this. It's way
Yeah.
too much work. And then, of course, about a year or two later, multiple streaming services started coming online. I'm like, you know what? If I can't find it online and I need it desperately enough, I'll just convert. But as for converting all of that music, I'm not going to do it. It's
Mhm.
just it's too much work. It's too many
The
hours.
thing,
And the other thing is too, like I said, it just boils down to if I can't find it online because maybe I have a different remix that I preferred over the more popular one for if I wanted to, you know, if I was doing a party or a wedding or something, I could convert it. But for the most part, if I don't have it on digital right now, like a digital copy, I can find it somewhere. So why bother? Like why
mhm.
bother?
For me, it was the whole thing of digital. You had to buy it again. It's like, I have the CD, I have the tape, I paid
Mm,
for it. Why are you
yeah.
making me pay again? It's like, why
Well,
can't I
it's
just enter a code that says I actually have it, and then you can get it back to me again?
because greedy
So
record companies are greedy and they screw the artists out of the money, which is why Taylor Swift went and re-recorded all her stuff.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, kids. Today we are talking again about, I mentioned, leaders and stories and personalities that have impressed us either for good or for ill over the course of the
Mm,
year. In our previous show, we talked about politicians at the international, federal, and I believe, uh, I think, yeah, only at that level. But we didn't get to provincial, and we didn't get to other types of personalities in the media. So I think we will talk about them. I think we got to the premiers provincially, and
I believe.
if I remember correctly, because we had mentioned, um, or did we get to the premiers provincially?
No, I don't think we did.
I'm trying to
I
think.
don't think we did
I don't
actually.
think we did.
No.
No. All right. So let's start with them. Mr. Grizzly, I'll let you go first. Of the premiers, which are the ones that were probably the more impressive this year?
Impressive in their
Ooh.
ineptitude, maybe.
All
I
right.
mean, I hmm, impressive. Honestly,
It's almost
okay.
by
You
process
know
of
what's
elimination.
impressive? Yeah, you know what's impressive to me was Wob Canoe getting elected. That
Hmm.
was impressive. His platform is impressive. It is a progressive conservative party platform. I know that he's NDP, but I looked at his platform as progressive conservative from the 1980s, and that's fine because it's a good solid platform. And he's trying to do the most he can for the citizens of Manitoba. So, you know, even though he's only been there for a very short time period, he's already done a few impressive things. I'll say Wob Canoe is the most impressive. Really, that's the only one that stands out, and he's barely been there. I mean,
Yep.
anybody else is like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah. But when you think about it, yes, he's been there a short period of time. But if you include the lead up to the campaign and then the campaign, the way he ran it,
Hmm. That
you
was
know,
all. Yes.
as premier, we don't have a lot of time to judge him, and he's definitely still in the honeymoon phase. You
Yes.
can tell it's late. Oh boy. Uh, but yeah, I think he did well. I believe that Premier David Eby in British Columbia is doing, again, comparatively well to the others, and the Premier of Prince Edward Island, Dennis King, as well. Uh, I would also put in there, if
Yeah.
we're counting the territories, and I really do need to look his name up because it's a little tricky to remember. But the Premier of Yukon Territory, um, or maybe I have the wrong person. No, it is Yukon. Okay. I do not know why. Wow, you type Territorial Premier Yukon into Google and it doesn't actually give you his name.
Well, that's less
That's
than impressive.
terrible. Okay, there we go. Just Yukon Premier Ranj Pillai is his name. Uh,
Okay.
During the wildfires, he often made some comments that were very, very, very intelligent and astute and pointed, and also on the healthcare discussions when they were having them, when the provinces and the territories were trying to convince the prime minister to just hand them, I think it is something like $28 billion with no strings attached whatsoever. And Pierre Poilievre was saying, yeah, I give them all the money, while at the same time complaining about the prime minister inflationary spending, which if you just hand $28 billion to the premiers for them to pump into the economy, that would stimulate inflation now, wouldn't it?
Mm.
And would add to the debt, all the things. Poilievre is really all over the place. But Ranj Pillai does not get a lot of profile because, of course, he's a territorial premier. But
Right.
anytime I have heard him speak in the media and anytime he has been called to speak, he has been very, very, very impressive. And I believe there was also a time, if I remember correctly, that there was an ice flow jam as well up in Yukon Territory that lasted
Mm.
about 8 days, and they were worried that when the jam let go, that there would be huge floods that might actually overtake a hamlet in the area. I remember the Northern Reporter for CBC reporting on that at once. I think we actually had showed it on our show, and I can't remember her name off the top of my head as well. But on those 3 occasions, I remember this year, he was making interventions, and they do have a really good premiere there, I have to say. For And I think I would agree with you, however, just because of the size of his not the size, but the historical significance of his victory and the manner in which he handled himself with lots of dignity and grace while the progressive conservatives, allegedly progressive conservatives in Manitoba, were trying to dredge up his past over and over and over
Mm.
again to try and create the impression that we should not trust him, and how he refused to get into the debate as to whether he would become the premier of Indigenous people specifically, rather than the premier of all the people of Manitoba, and how he very astutely sidestepped that whole question to make it very clear that yes, he is an Indigenous premier, but he would govern for all Manitobans. So there were a lot of traps, bait left out for him, and he avoided all of those very, very deftly, very skillfully. And I think that when you put that all together, I would say he would have to be our Premier of the Year.
Mhm.
On the other side, we have an embarrassment of riches for the most disappointing, most repelling, most awful, most horrid,
I
whatever
don't.
word you want to put.
I don't think there's any better way to put that. An embarrassment of riches for horrible.
Oh, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Like really. Sorry, just Scott Moe. Oh yeah, where did it begin with that guy?
I think, here's the thing, right? Danielle Smith is a human train wreck.
Oh yeah,
Total
yeah.
hot mess express.
Mhm.
But if you're looking at it in terms of her accomplishing what it is she is trying to accomplish,
She's been successful. I know. Successful at doing terrible things, but still successful.
yeah. She, how would I put it? She's moving so fast and breaking so many things that there's no time to catch up to her because there's so many things. There's just too much to deal with it. You
Yeah.
can't keep it, and you're basically overwhelmed. So Operation Overwhelm,
Yeah.
really it is, right? Just blitz,
That's what it
flood the
is.
zone with BS, you and she has that. We don't like her, but I have to admit, for the people who do, she does seem to have that charisma.
Well, those who love her a lot, and
Yeah. And
I
she seems to
honestly,
have that ability to make the people that she speaks to feel
yeah,
important and seen and heard.
yeah,
It's all, but it's all for. It's like I keep on saying that as Queen Beaver. Yes, I'm evil, but I use my powers for good. She does not use her powers for good
no,
in any way, shape, or form. Um, Scott Moe, it's like I want to give him the prize for the simple fact that he invoked the notwithstanding clause on kids.
yeah,
You can't
that's
get
just,
much horrible than that. And in 2022, his was the province that had the most COVID deaths, and he's
mm,
got the highest rate of teen pregnancy, and I believe the highest rate of STD infection.
it just,
And Saskatchewan has absolutely no publicly funded safe injection center. I believe the one that they have there sells T-shirts and stuff like that to try to keep itself going.
because they're not getting any proper funding, I assume.
Yeah, but then you have Blaine Higgs, who had a literal caucus revolt.
Yeah,
He had 6 people leave.
just like I'm out because you're a piece of shit of a human being. I'm leaving. I'm
And
out.
yeah, and now he's totally doubled down on that with the pension thing. And he's actually just recently announced that that Fatine woman
Hmm.
is one of his candidates for the next election. So he is just going all in on the religious thing.
I look.
He went and recruited Fatine.
When we talked about this, we've talked about this on this program ad nauseum, that this grassroots, it's not grassroots, it's an organized group of people who want to create a religious state. They want Gilead, and they are starting with school boards and moving up from there. And these are bad people who are doing bad things by evidence that we have. Like, this is not speculation. I'm not making this up. We're watching it happen in real time. And it disturbs me because I shudder to think of what would happen to this country if these folks took power. That Fatine woman is, we did a show about her some time ago,
Yeah,
and she's just horrible personified.
yeah. Fatine Grasecci, if I'm pronouncing her last name correctly. But he's gone and recruited her. And today, I found out that in Nova Scotia, they are clawing back the disability benefit.
Yeah.
So,
Feds have
like,
increased it. The provinces crawl. Ugh, come on.
so just a couple of days ago, we were saying, like, of all the bad conservative ones, Tim Houston was kind of looking good.
Yeah.
And then
Was.
that news came out. It's just, they're all bad. And then we have Francois Legault, the spectacular downfall, right? From, I believe I said a while ago that it was 80 something seats that he had got in the last
Something to that.
election, but it wasn't. It was about 74 or something of the sort. I believe I had made a mistake. in there in the 22 Quebec election. He had picked up what it was 74 seats. But if an election were held today, he would have 19.
Wow.
And he's got a massive public strike, the largest one. It looks like he has some type of deal with one of the school board pensions, but unions, but 4 of the health-based unions are planning or have announced that sometime in January they're going full strike unless something happens. And the premier actually came out and said, well, yeah, and this stuff may be going on, but we won't be doing anything until like after the holidays or Christmas one. Wouldn't you have, if you've got 420,000 people on strike and they're about to say, okay, now we're going to go on daily strike every single day rather than 1 or 2, 3 days a week, wouldn't you still be at work 24/7 trying to arrange that rather than taking some time off? And it wasn't until the teachers sort of blocked a bridge that they came to some kind of minimal type of understanding. It's hard to pick one who's worse.
It really is. I mean, it's not a joke. It's truly troublesome.
How do you pick?
Well, like you said, we have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to terrible people doing bad things to Canadians.
Jeez.
Terrible people who've been elected. That's the worst part.
Right?
But here's the thing that here's the shining little glimmer of hope in all of this. And you got to find a shining glimmer of hope. Is that people are waking up very quickly to discover, oh, wait a minute, I should not have voted for the leopards eating my face party because they're actually doing that. They're discovering it in real time. They're sharing it in real time. And they're like, this is not what we thought we were going to get. This is what we ended up getting, but we thought we were getting something else. So this people are starting to refold is what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm.
As evidenced by you know, what we saw taking place in Argentina. They're like, oh, shit. We're in trouble. New Brunswick is freaking out, justifiably so. And they're not going to stand for it. Now, I don't know what they can do about it because we don't have the ability to recall like they do in the United States. In the state of California, they can recall the governor, and they have.
Yeah.
We don't have the ability to do that, but you'd have to get the other parties in the legislature to say non-confidence.
Right, but they're going to have an election in October if it goes all the way, because Blaine Higgs keeps on saying or threatening that he's going to call one early, but he just never seems to find the moment. And according to the year-end Christmas, you know, when the MPs, or not federally, but, you know, provincially as well, stand up in the House and do their take on it was the night before Christmas or something.
Right,
and,
yes.
The one in New Brunswick seemed to basically be indicating that the latest polls would show that the Liberals are actually leading the Progressive Conservatives in New Brunswick. However, when I look at 338canada.com, they haven't updated their provincial one in Quebec since September, and still shows them rather neck and neck in terms of percentages, but with the Progressive Conservatives with the seat advantage in terms of the seats for about the same amount of votes. So, but it would be really, really important for us that New Brunswick flip. We were really hoping Alberta would, but to make big changes to the Constitution, you need at least 7 provinces with 50% of the population, and we do have 7 provinces right now who are governed by Conservative premiers.
Yeah.
So we were really hoping that Rachel Notley would win in Alberta to bring that down.
Well, and help the
she
people
kind of
of
blew
Alberta.
that one. Canoe did win in Manitoba, so that removes 1. But we still need a couple to go, and it's probably not going to be Saskatchewan because he's still very popular. So New Brunswick really does have to go.
Well, you know, I had a conversation with a gentleman earlier when I was out for dinner, and we were talking about how, you know, the provinces are run by terrible people, and the loyal opposition is not loyal to this country because he opposes every single thing. And this is a gentleman I never met before. He's from Toronto originally. He lives here now, and we had a nice conversation. He's like, I'm going to subscribe to your podcast. I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that. And we were not exactly, I'd say, lockstep and everything, but we really were able to find a common ground. He's like, he says, I don't love Trudeau, and my taxes are killing me right now, but the alternative is disturbing. And he says, and the thing is, and I said, well, what we do on our show is try and hold his feet to the fire because the guy lies so often and gets away with it. I said, and the premiers do. And he goes, that's the thing that troubles me the most is that the lying, the constant lying, and never are they ever held to task for it. So, I'm talking to people, just random strangers in a pub about stuff like this, trying to get the feel for, what's going on. Is it like am I polling? No. There's no science to it. I'm just having conversations. It's anecdotal. But I'm getting the vibe from people that I talk to who are like, yeah, I don't love Trudeau, but we do not have an alternative choice.
Yeah.
Because they're like, Poilievre does not have a platform. He has slogans, no platform. And here's the thing he did say. He goes, look, his advertising is really effective.
Yes, it is.
And I'm like, yeah, you're right, it is. They've got a great campaign, except the election's 2 years away. And he's like, I know. How is he able to do this? That we don't know. He's campaigning for a position you don't run for, number one. Number two, it's 2 years before the next election. How is he able to continue doing this without somebody reprimanding him? This is the part none of us can understand.
Yeah.
So we're living in strange times. But when I talk to just random individuals in the pub and get that sort of feedback, it does give me hope.
Yeah.
Because people are paying attention.
They are. Now, there are 5 provincial elections before the next federal election. Right? There'll be 3 in October in 2024. Mm-hmm. British Columbia will go on the 19th, New Brunswick on the 24th, and Saskatchewan on the 28th. According to polls, if things stay close to how they are now, British Columbia is pretty much a lock for David Eby. He's doing very well there. Saskatchewan will probably be a lock for Mo because he's doing well there. New Brunswick could potentially flip. Then in 2025, we have Nova Scotia, which potentially could flip if people have regret relatively quickly with Tim Houston. But Newfoundland and Labrador happens about 6 days before the federal election. And right now, the polls are indicating that based on, it was last updated October 17th, so a while ago, but the Liberals are down 7% from the previous election, and the PCs are up, so it's 40 and 37. So we're in a situation where you could maybe win New Brunswick and lose Newfoundland and Labrador and still be in a situation where you have 7 provinces. Right? And assuming the worst, that Poilievre wins federally, if he's got 7 provinces, this guy might wholesale change the Constitution.
That's the thing I fear the most. Because he damn well wants to. He wants to.
And Harper wants to, and Harper's got his hand up the back of his shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's for the premiers. I'd like to maybe talk about, instead of, I was trying to think of actual provincial politicians that weren't necessarily the leaders, but I can't really think of many people
I can think of one
raised some profile other than Dorothy Shepherd. But
Mike Schreiner.
Yeah, Mike Schreiner, a party leader, but yes, we could have, or the lady that we talked about recently who just won the by-election in Kitchener for the Greens to double their seats. Aislinn, I believe, is her first name, but it's her last name that I can't remember. Normally, I remember the last names.
That's it. And I can't think of very many standouts, to be honest. But Mike Schreiner, yes, absolutely. I think she's doing she's hasn't been there long enough to.
Aislinn Clancy.
Hasn't been there long enough to really make a dent in or an impression on myself.
Well, it'd be the same thing as Wab Canoe, right? Just the fact that she was when a party doubles its caucus,
Mhm.
that is kind of an achievement. I mean, the Greens won their first ever provincial seat was in Guelph. Now
Yes.
they have a second one, and it's Kitchener, and I believe Kitchener is the same place that Mike Morris represents federally,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken. Because Mike
Uh,
Schreiner, I believe, is also Guelph provincial.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I could be wrong.
So the two places where there are federal Green, that's a good question. Actually, you know what?
We'll have to look into that
I'll
one.
have to look into that. I might not be so sure on that one. Um, let me look that up. Mike Morris, member of the House of Commons for Kitchener Centre. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, but federally and provincially, Kitchener is represented by Greens. So that again, as we were talking about Mike Morris on the previous show, that probably goes to his credit because probably a lot of his organization went to help in that riding.
Yes.
So he did well, impressed, and probably the constituency trusted to go Green in that
Well,
by-election because their choice there was Green and NDP. The
mhm.
Liberal candidate was nowhere, neither was the PC candidate.
Well, and if memory serves correctly, and I could be I'm trying to remember. If memory serves, he gave a really great speech on election night when he got in. If memory serves, but I've had a lot of concussions.
All right.
My memory isn't what it once was, but I'll tell you that I do remember things. Sometimes I just don't remember them where, when, why, or how. But I do remember.
So, moving on from politicians specifically, most impressive public political personality who is not a currently elected serving person. Now, there's a couple of people that I thought of. I thought of Bob Ray, who's our ambassador at the
Okay.
UN.
Yes. I was confused for a minute. I mean, what?
Yes.
What?
I thought of the former Auditor General of Ontario.
Who is?
God, I have to remember her name off the top of my head, but the one who did look into Doug Ford and made the recommendation
Oh, yes.
that it
Yes.
should
So
go right.
that they went about stealing lands from the public purse. Oh, did I say that out loud? Stealing? Did I say that out loud? I think I did. I am not retracting it. I said what I said.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. But she did some good work and clearly, made some news there and provided some good public service. Bonnie Lysyk
Bonnie Lysyk, thank you.
is her name. I thought
She really tore into them too, and
yes,
justifiably so. Didn't pull her punches. Was hitting, straight. Like she came at him straight.
yeah,
I think she was relieved of duty soon afterwards.
yes. No, she was retiring.
Oh, right.
Then they
Yes.
brought someone
Right.
else in, and he or she was relieved of
Yes.
duties
Very quickly.
after
Yes.
basically looking into the other thing that might
Yeah.
require. I believe it was the Ontario Place deal.
Yes.
I think it was. Yeah. And Doug Ford decided that he needed another new Auditor General, which I thought was really weird because I thought like the Auditor Generals were in place for about 10 years or something like that. Federally, I know that's the case because, you want that continuity regardless of who's appointing. But yeah. Then the new communications person for Prime Minister Trudeau, Max Valiquette, who seems to be turning things around.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's lean into that one for a minute, shall we?
Okay.
The way they have just in the last couple of weeks changed tack, literally changed tack, raised the mizzen mast, raised all sails, and steered directly into the wind. It's like you say, sunny ways. This is back to when they got elected in 2015. They're fighting back, but they're fighting back with facts. They're not name calling. They're not taking something somebody said and using that as a soundbite. They're saying, no, they said this lie right here, and we're calling them out on it.
Right.
The entire thing was a lie. We're calling them out. It's not a clip, and the budget will take care of its budget. Budget will balance itself, which is, again, taken out of context and not a complete quote. They're not doing that. They're fighting back. They're fighting fire with fire, but they're doing so with flamethrowers, and they're covering everything. And
Mhm.
quite frankly, it's about bloody time.
It absolutely is. And I'm liking this new strategy as a PR comms guy. I am liking this new strategy. I want more of it, especially when you have effective communicators like that party has.
Yes.
Give them a script and set them loose.
Well, and I wonder, and I do wonder aloud if Sean Fraser is scripted or if he's just shooting from the hip. Because when I watch him in the House of Commons, I don't think he's got a script. I think he's just responding from the hip and has been given free rein to do so.
Mm-hmm.
The way he went after Michelle Ferrari when she said, she showed up at the announcement of all the funding for the housing program that she voted against, and he called her out for it in the House.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, dude, more of that, please.
Absolutely.
Stop letting them get away with their lies. Like, just,
Yep.
Obviously you cannot call somebody a liar in the House of Commons, but you can point out what they said, how they voted, and what they did afterwards, which is what he did.
Right. On my list,
I want that done on both sides of the aisle now. Okay,
yes.
I want people to understand that if a liberal lies, I want the conservatives to call them out, or the Bloc, or somebody to call them out. Call out the lies. Period.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we don't want our money spent on people lying to us.
No. I don't care what your party is. I don't care what your politics are. I don't want my tax dollars going towards people who lie and lie and lie and never get held to task for it. That is why I'm exasperated all the damn time.
Yep.
That is what exasperates me the most.
Yep. Also on my list, the new national chief of the AFN, Cindy Woodhouse, because that was a multiple ballot vote, 6 ballots. A lot of people were in that race, and especially after a tumultuous time under National Chief Roseanne Archibald, to be able to pick up some pieces there. Again, not a lot of time in the position. She's just gotten it. But again, to be able to get through that race, quite impressive. Economist Trevor Toome, who's always from the University of Calgary. He's always has the facts, and it's always impressive because he's from the University of Calgary, which
West, yeah,
yes, but he's often cited, and he often comes up with some good facts for us and to clear things up. But
well, and let's remember, folks, Calgary is more right-leaning than Edmonton is.
Yes,
it's just a simple fact.
Yes.
So, and a couple of times when he came out with the carbon regulatory fee, the carbon regulatory recovery fee, and said it does not add to the price of groceries.
Yep.
From the U of C, and people in the West were going, well, no, we still got to axe the tax, but it's not actually harming you. It's not. That's not why groceries are so expensive. Groceries are expensive because they're gouging you. And when Pierre Poilievre says it's because of the carbon tax, he's lying to you. Yep. And he's hoping that you're stupid. And he's talking to you like you're stupid because he doesn't count on you being able to actually, look shit up, Goodness me, how would I ever find out about that sort of information in this?
But I think, even though we had a lot of people to choose from, my vote this year are the fire chiefs and all the wildfire information officers.
Yeah.
They did spectacular jobs, keep people informed, giving them the right information at the right time, not politicizing things, sticking to the facts, keeping things clear and concise. And wherever you were listening to them, whether it was the guy from Kelowna, whether it was the guy from Yellowknife, whether them two stand out the most because they seem to have been the busiest over the course because things were particularly bad there. But each one of them was very impressive. I would listen to them on podcasts, and I think, I need to go see what this person looks like, and then I'd look them up on YouTube and video and say, yeah, he looks exactly, or she looks exactly what I thought they would look like, just based on their
Interesting.
voice and the way that they talk, and and the expressions on their face. So my award, let's say, for a best public political personality who's not an elected official, would be the fire chiefs and the wildfire information officers this year.
Okay.
They really did.
You know that
provided
until you
us with
brought
good
that up,
service.
it wasn't something it wasn't in the forefront of my mind, if you will. I just, like I said, I'm tired and trying to search through. It's like, who could, and I was drawing blanks, but you're bringing that up, and I'm like, yeah, actually, now that you mention it, it's like, hello. I mean, considering the hell they went through and their crews went through, pretty spectacular job.
Right. Now, on the disappointing side,
Oh, there's a long list.
there's a long list.
There's a litany.
My list includes, of course, perennial favorite Jenny Byrne,
Mm-hmm.
especially when she broke out the blackface stuff once again.
Oh, yeah. Sarah Fisher.
Sarah Fisher. I mean, come on. This is, if we had a picture of incompetence,
Yeah.
right, and consistently making herself the story when she should be invisible.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. The head of CSIS.
I don't even know who the hell that is.
I don't know their name, but consider everything that's gone on with foreign interference, considering all the stuff
leaks.
with the convoy, the leaks, and so much so that you had Bruce Anderson.
Mhm.
Bruce Anderson, who used to, I'm not sure if he's with Abacus anymore or if he's moved on from there, but literally taking to Twitter and saying that the Prime Minister should have his head and that there should be some cleaning of house there.
Mm-hmm.
So the head of CSIS is probably there. Pierre Poilievre's wife, Evita. Unelected, but she seems to be everywhere.
And here's the thing about this. Wives and children are supposed to be left off, right? They're supposed to be left alone. And a lot of people came after the PM's wife that he's currently separated from for stuff. And I'm like, she's kept out of the spotlight for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Something somebody said to me recently, somebody close, somebody who's not super politically involved, but pays attention to things, said something that I thought was, well, if you only knew the truth, but I didn't make the comment. I just thought, if you only knew the truth. But they said, she's like, I don't like Pierre Poilievre, and I don't like his wife, and his wife keeps coming out to tell the world how much she loves him, and vice versa. When you gotta keep announcing it like that, there's something suspect there. I'm like, well, yeah. Mom, friends, Romans, countrymen, it's because he's deep, 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 deep in the closet. But I didn't say that to that person, but that was,
But we're not ones to gossip, so you didn't hear it from us, okay, kids?
No.
Yeah. Roman Baber, because he's not elected yet. But running all around and doing stuff. Franco Terrazzano, the head of the allegedly Canadian Taxpayers Federation.
That's a joke. It always has been.
Yeah. But him specifically, just doing his mini-me. I swear to all that is holy that he is trying to do his BSPP imitation, hoping that PP will implode and that he can just walk right in, because he's borrowed his look. He's borrowed his, that movie Single White Female?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Single White Female.
He's Bridget Fonda.
Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Jennifer Jason Leigh did that. Yeah. When
it looks like I half expect him to stick a stiletto in someone's forehead.
Yeah.
Because it's a little creepy to me how much he's trying to be exactly like Pierre, right up to the videos with like the arms moving and the high pitched voice and the glasses and the weird hair and it's way too close for me to look at that and going, like, why are you a clone? An utter and complete clone.
Yeah.
And, as the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, he does one thing, but of course he has his own Spencer Fernando Substack like this, where he's taking positions on a whole bunch of stuff. And it's almost like that thing we said about Mr. Reed, Angus Reed,
Mhm.
when you have your own stuff and then you're heading an organization.
And you're making really derogatory commentary.
Because he's been making like super misogynistic commentary about like Melanie Jolie, for example,
Oh, yeah.
and Chrystia Freeland. He's making comments about having to reduce immigration. He's going on the ethno
I think if he's coming from Melanie
nationalist thing.
Jolie, he's really taking his own personal safety into his hands, because something tell me Melanie would beat the hell out of him. Look, I
I
have
would not
nothing
want
but
to mess with
respect.
her.
No, I have nothing but respect for her, but you can see she will not put up with shit.
Mhm.
You can see it.
You
Like,
can see it.
when somebody says something derogatory or stupid or just, and you've seen it.
She gets that mom look, right?
Yeah.
That
It's like, oh shit, not only am I going to get scolded, but I think I'm about to get hit.
Yeah, mom's about to drop kick me into next week. But just with her tongue. Oh my God. And
Well, she'll outsmart him, because
Yeah.
she's smarter than him to begin with, but I also think she could kick his ass. I'm not saying
Yes.
violence is ever a good thing.
But
Sometimes it's fun to watch, though. But anyway,
but
I watched
think
Die
if-
Hard last night.
Yes. I think if it came down to it, she probably could,
Oh yeah.
actually. But I think the undisputed prize, at least for me, and I think you might agree, would have to go to Mr. David Parker.
Jesus. Yeah.
Has there literally been anyone worse who's not elected, but still really way too involved in politics for their own damn good?
Well, and he's kind of been quiet the last couple of weeks. Have you noticed that?
A little bit.
I've not seen or heard anything about or from him in about 2 or 3 weeks now. Makes me wonder. I think I oftentimes I've replied to his tweets like, dude, you're going to push somebody too far and they're not going to respond well. You're in the FA. You're going to find the FO soon, and it's coming. I'm telling you, man, because you keep pushing people and pushing people and pushing people, and you're not doing things right, and you're going to find out the hard way that people have a limit, and when you push them beyond it, watch out.
All right. My next category, engaged citizen. I have, of course, Mr. David Wallace.
Yes.
And not because he's associated with the network.
No.
But he's literally doing things.
And he's really put himself out there to do it.
Yeah.
Like he point blank burned his life down because he said these are not good people. These are people that want to harm this country. They don't believe in democracy. They don't want to govern. They want to rule. And he couldn't do it anymore, and he had to walk away. Now, look, he admits, hey, look, I helped create this monster, so it's my job to burn it to the ground.
Yep, I concur. Oh, by the way, the name of the CSIS director just popped into my mind. It's David Vigneault.
Okay.
I had forgotten about that. Gail Costello, out in New Brunswick, who was the educator who was taking some very, very important stands against Blair Higgs.
Oh, yes.
Anti-trans.
Blaine Higgs.
Yes. So I have her on my list for this year. I have Faye Johnstone. It's the transgender activist because, again, there's been a lot of stuff with regard to trans kids, and she has been out there being quite vocal and being quite visible in fighting the good fight. Again, not because we interviewed her, but Laura Babcock.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's nothing to do with the fact that we interviewed her. She's just out there doing the thing to make the world better.
But I think the undisputed prize this year for me has to go to someone we've been trying to get on the show for a while, but she's just so damn busy doing the good things. Cindy Blackstock,
I knew you were going to say that.
because that case finally got resolved.
Mhm.
That settlement for the kids
Yes.
who had been underserved and underfunded for so many years. And with the case we thought was resolved, but there was still one little snag because the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal wouldn't sanction it just yet. And they went to fight for that little bit more, and she got that little bit more. I think it was over $23 billion total settlement, the largest
Something
one
like
in
that, yeah.
Canadian history.
It's a big one.
And it was an over 20-year fight.
Yeah.
And
They've
she
been at
stuck
it for a
with
very
it.
long time.
She stuck with it the whole time.
Well, that's intestinal fortitude and dedication and belief in what you're doing, because I think most people would have said, I can't do this anymore, and walked away. 20 years. I mean, that's a commitment, man.
$23.34 billion.
Wow.
She managed to get largest settlement agreement ever in Canadian history.
It's impressive.
It's absolutely impressive. And she has been, like I said, fighting this over and over again, consistently being out there, being the face of this movement. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Cindy Blackstock, hats off.
Well, at some point we'll be able to get her on the show. She has committed to
Yes.
appearing. It's just
every time we
schedule.
we have an opening, it says, "I'm sorry, I'm going back to court."
If it's not one thing, it's 6 dozen others. And, and we're like, nah, no worries. Go do your good deeds. We're okay with that.
We're okay. Yeah.
We're here when you have the time. We're here.
Yeah, and take care of the kids first, right? Because we're not that important.
No.
Comparative to the and as a former foster kid, take care of the kids. Trust me, I'm good at that. I'm good with that. Okay, our netizen, I call it, of the year. So these are people that contribute to helping inform the public, sort of like we do, by doing their thing on the net. So we have TikTok Lisa.
Oh, yes.
Who we feature often. She's just so brilliant. Love her nails, love her hair, love her eye makeup. But the best is I love her sass and just the way she deconstructs stuff and puts it out there.
Every damn day.
Every damn day. She's, love her. And was it Jennifer Johnson? Fuck you. That's that lady who said that made that comment about the batch of cookies with a little bit of feces in. So if a trans kid got a good math test score, it ruins it for everyone else just because they're trans or something. It's real, just dumb. Frank Dominic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Who he himself says his great skill is to be able to speak for minutes without blinking.
That is a skill.
Watch his videos. He does not blink.
Well, and that's what they teach you in acting, right?
Yeah.
When you're so look at me. When delivering a speech, to be strong, you don't blink. You look them directly in the eye and never blink. It's not easy to do because you have to think, don't blink, don't blink, don't blink, and be committed to what you're saying. It's not an easy thing to do. See, I just blinked.
Yep. Actually, earlier when you said don't blink, you blinked right before it.
Yeah, I know. It's not an easy thing to do.
No. We have someone from whom we've begged, borrowed, stolen a lot, Yaro Geisbrek.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Of course, Joanna Johnson, Unlearned 16 tweets.
Unlearned 16. Yes.
Great. We have Tim Krutzman, who we did have the honor of being able to interview as well. Creek Pete. I don't actually know his real name, so I go by Creek Pete.
I've sent him messages. I'm like, dude, we'd love to have you on the show.
I have to say, I have a tiny bit of a crush on him.
Well, I don't, but what I do appreciate is he has the same level of rage that I have.
Yeah.
But he chuckles about it, whereas I get angrier.
Yeah.
Like he has the same intense level of rage that I have, but he's laughing. whereas I get sweary and yelly, and
Yep.
which is why I think it'd be great if we could have him on. He would be the yin to my yang, and you could be over here, just guys, just calm down. Everybody calm down. Just bring it down a couple of notches.
And then there's the other guy. I wish I could remember his name. And we haven't seen him a lot lately, but during the wildfires, he was that ranger guy that was doing those videos. Very, very good looking guy.
I don't recall, sorry.
Oh, it was, but again, he was always talking about stuff from an environmental perspective, particularly the wildfires during the wildfire season, but other things too with regard to Greenbelt every now and then. And for a while, for about like 2 or 3 months, he was very, very visible. And I wish I would have like bookmarked something so I can actually remember his name. So I just call him Cute Ranger Guy.
I don't think that's what he wants.
Probably not. But somebody maybe will be able to remind me of his name. I have a very hard time picking between this group, to be totally honest. I wouldn't know who to pick.
It'd be a coin flip, honestly.
Because they've all been
really
fantastic.
Coin flip between these two, winner moves on. Because I couldn't give you I honestly couldn't.
And all of them, we have featured their work on the show. Either playing like full clips of a TikTok thing or a video that they've done, or having them on as an interview, or every single one. These are people that are doing similar work to which we're doing, except they're doing it in shorter form.
Well, citizens who are concerned about what's happening in this country and want to do their best to make a difference. It's why we have a show.
But again, the facts first, logical reasoning, bringing a little of the aggro in their own way, showing a lot of personality, but always consistently informative and engaging.
And on message.
Yeah. So hats off to all of you, netizens of Canada, who are doing your little bit to promote democracy.
We salute you.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. On the worst ones, I only have 4. Okay. There are some terrible ones, but I only have 4. Not RuPaul. Subramania. She's terrible. I haven't
seen much of her lately, though.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? She did her thing with Jim Jordan in the US, and there's a sign that you lack discernment. Let's go help the guy who refused to accept a subpoena to testify, number 1, and who also kept things quiet when people were being touched in inappropriate ways.
Yeah.
In his past job. Let's take that guy, let's accept his invitation and consider it a great honor.
It's not a good idea.
It's like, girl. And so that was her audition, and she did get called up to Fox News. She did do that one stint, and I guess she didn't impress because she got one article in the Hindustan Times and nothing else, and then she had about a 3-week tantrum about why is nobody paying attention to me?
Basically,
and then she just kind of vanished.
Oopsie.
You tried to make it there, and now you can't make it anywhere.
Well, you burn your bridges.
Poor Rupa. Then, of course, we have Crybaby Caillou, perennial favorite in this category. And then Linda Frum.
Yeah.
Who, for some reason, even though she's the head of an organization or the chair of an organization that's supposed to promote the Jewish community, did her organization great disservice by basically seeing an anti-Semite under every single freaking rock.
Yeah.
You can't go around accusing every single person that doesn't agree with you 100% of being an anti-Semite and be a credible leader of a community organization.
It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it just doesn't work that way. But the prize goes to alleged engineer Bahira. Al Salam, Al Abdus Salam.
Yeah, she's been awful quiet lately too, eh?
Well, ever since she lost all of her allies since October 7th.
Funny how that. Well, and
It's
how many
almost like
people, including us, said siding with these folks is not in your best interest. They will throw you under the bus the first opportunity. They're
who would have
using
thought
you
that
as
the
a cudgel
opportunity would
right
have
now.
come a couple of months later, though.
Well, I mean, like I said, they used them as a cudgel and then tossed them aside immediately. Immediately. We said this would happen.
She came out of nowhere. She was everywhere for about 2 months and a half.
Gone.
And then, boom, Vanishing Cream Award.
Mm-hmm. We said this would happen. But did they listen? No.
And you said that we were being mean and nasty and not nice. And once again, we keep on saying, we're not being mean. We're just trying to warn you.
You don't listen. Some of us have been around a little bit longer and have seen this play out before. So we thought we would, do the public service thing and say, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. These people don't care about you. Yeah, they love you right now because you're an effective tool for them. That's all you are. The moment they don't need you anymore, bye-bye, Miss American Pie.
There's a playbook. There's a script.
It's not the first time this has happened. We've seen it before.
Yeah. It's like you almost need like Celine Dion and Peebo Bryson going, tale as old as time.
Beauty and the Beast. Is that what it was from?
Beauty? Yeah.
Okay.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
It's like, don't you... Really? You've not seen this movie? It's like, wait a minute. You're watching Friday the 13th, Part 8, and you're still in suspense about how this is going to end?
There's
really?
a couple that's going to have sex and get killed. The virgin's going to live.
Somebody's going to say, I'll be right back, and won't. Somebody will say, let's split up, and we'll get split, literally. It's... Come on, man.
I mean, they made fun of that in a film that ran its own series and is still making them.
Yeah.
There's rules to a horror film.
Come on,
the couple that has sex, both get killed. The virgin survives. When you say, I'll be right back, you never come back because the killer gets you.
And don't go into the basement.
Scream.
Literally, don't go into the basement. Dig up. But all these four are people who went down into the basement.
The call is coming from inside the house.
It's like, don't answer the phone. All right, kids. Mr. Grizzly, do we have an episode?
We do, sir.
All right.
Indeed, we do.
Kids and Cubs. That's the end of our episode of the True North Eager Beaver Daily Morning Show. You name it, whatever. I'm screwing it up. Episode.
We're tired. It's late.
We hope that you enjoyed listening to us because we enjoyed making this for you. Because sharing is caring. Please let your peeps and poops know all about us because word of mouth is priceless and you have the mouths from which we want the word to come. And based on like today on Twitter, wow, the sheer number of compliments that have been just flowing. Like, and just proactively people going, hey, you need to watch these guys if you want into integrity. It's like we had it a couple of times a week, now and then, frequently throughout the year. But the last couple of weeks, it's been at least 2 or 3 people every day, single day, without fail, even on weekends when we don't have a new offering out. It's like, somebody writes something, it's like, you should be listening to True North Eager Beaver. And it's like, thank you. I mean, maybe that's why our numbers are going up really fast. Because you're doing our advertising for us. But thank you so much. We really appreciate that. If you would like to make sure you do not miss an episode, you do not have to because the Ray Girl has got you covered. If you scan that squiggly, that is now this time literally under my chin where I'm sitting here. That will bring you to our pod page. That's podpage.com/the True North Eager Beaver, lowercase letters, all in one word. And that way, when you subscribe there, when we have something fresh off the bandwidth, we'll come gaily forward to you.
Sure.
I don't want to say come straight to you. You know that. Need a little bit of whimsy.
Okay, that one. This is how tired I am. I didn't even see that coming until you pointed it out to me. I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
yes.
right, yes, okay.
So I don't walk straight to place. I walk gaily forward. Sometimes I even prance. Hey.
Everybody loves a good prance.
Oh, yes. And I don't walk, I strut. And then I walk, and then sashay.
We used to have a family dog, a poodle, about 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago. She was a character, and she pranced. Everywhere she went, she pranced. She was a character.
Hey. Prancing is about as close as you can get to dancing without actually dancing.
Mhm.
So if you've always got music in your soul, it's like you're prancing.
Prance away, baby.
Prance away. I remember when that was like a fad for a while. Remember that they had planking for a while and then prancing?
I don't remember
That's
prancing.
what
I remember
this exercise
planking.
fad. Yeah, it was this thing.
You say so.
Yeah,
I have no recollection of that.
I'll see maybe if I can find something for the Easter egg about prancing. But yeah, so you do that. And if you like subscribing to stuff, well, then you need to make like Kit Elaine. Follow her example. And you go to our True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube page. And there you click on like, share, and subscribe. Our 3 favorite words, other than Mr. Grizzly.
Free beer today.
Mm-hmm. And because we're into the holiday spirits, see what I did there?
I see what you did there.
If you would like to make sure that we are nice and happy and perhaps feeling no pain during the holidays, you might want to click on that squiggly by Mr. Grizzly's head. That will bring you to the Eager Beaver Lodge Emergency Hydration Fund, where Caesar and Cafe and Chocolat, yes, and of course Guinness are waiting there for us.
I have one in the fridge I'm going to pour right after this.
Good man. So if you go there, you'll be able to leave us a little money, like we mentioned on a previous show, because we're doing the education bit. If you're donating through the super chat through YouTube, that is wonderful. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. But if you want to make sure that more of your dollar actually goes to us and less goes to Google, scan that little QR code or make the extra effort to go to our coffee page. It's the difference between over 90% on your dollar and 70% on your dollar. So that helps us out a lot. But of course,
we'll take anything you can give us.
Everything. Please do what's easier and what's best for you. So that's our coffee page. If you happen to be listening, coffee, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, lowercase letters, all in one word. And I believe we had received another donation today, Mr. Grizzly, from, or maybe 2 more since I last mentioned it, Kit Vim, once again, who just helped us out a couple of days ago. Helped us out today because we mentioned on our Friday show, after showing the interview with the designer Sol Dernay, that you were thinking of maybe getting some different mics so that we'd be able to do live shots.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I adore your authenticity. This is to put towards your mics. I love the show. I laughed and got teary-eyed. I wish you and your team a very well-deserved rest. You are such good, kind, and smart people. Joyeuse fête et bonne année. Be well, Kit Vim.
Yeah, merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. Yes, we did thank Kit MK on the previous show because I remember they talked about our Laura Babcock interview. But after that, we got something from Kit, I'm going to say Mari, because it's not Mary, but Mari, M-A-R-I, and basically said, we need you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we'll be here for you. How's that sound? We promise. I cut myself earlier. So,
Oh, brevity. 3 words. Got us right in the feels. We need you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your generosity. Of course, as we say, because it's the holiday season, after you've gotten your gifts, after you've done something for you, and after you've done something for the world, if you have a little bit extra, we would be
And
happy.
you feel like it. And you feel like it.
And- like this, we would be happy to receive any donation that you've got from the Beaver. Talking to me good from the Beaver Lodge. This is your eager Beaver saying it could be a tough world out there. I almost got there, tripped over the last hurdle.
It happens.
Saying it could be a tough world out there, so please be kind to and gentle with yourself. And for those of you who are going through a little bit of tougher time, some of you I know personally, and some of you I may not have met yet. Please know that we care about you. Please know that we care about what it is that you're going through. We're doing these shows for the Christmas week so that if you need some time with the damn fam or just need something to distract you for a
We're
while,
here for you.
that can hopefully bring a little bit of sunshine to your day and make you feel just a little less alone during this period. But we do love you. We do care for you. We want the best for you. Do, in particular, if you're going through a tough time during this time of year, be especially kind to and gentle with yourself.
And feel free to reach out. Like I said, I'll have every Monday at 9:30. Sometimes Tuesdays. It depends on how the schedule works. But I try and do the ASMR mental health chat.
Mhm.
You're free to join in, take part.
But you will be
in the
doing
chat.
one on Christmas Day.
Yes, although this show's airing well after Christmas Day. But
Yes, that's true.
yes.
Yes. So yeah, absolutely. Very, very, very important. And so yeah, just know that we got you. We got you. All right, Mr. Grizzly, some words of wisdom, please.
I you know what? I think you kind of summed it up because I was going down that alleyway of this is the tough time of year, and I know we're what 3 days away from a new year, and so many people at this time of year start saying, I just want to get this year behind me, so next year I can start a new year, a new me, and and I applaud your enthusiasm for that. But I do want to remind you of the words that Bono wrote in the U2 song. Nothing changes on New Year's Day. And I don't mean that to be negative. It's just another day. So don't put all your eggs in one basket of how new year, new me, everything's going to be different. Keep that enthusiasm up. But keep that enthusiasm up for every day of the year, not just New Year's.
Well, every day of the year can be your
That's
new
right.
year, the start of your new year.
Don't reserve it for one day. You can do it every day of the year. Each day is a gift. That's why they call it the present. That's from Audrey Hepburn, not me.
Oh, I thought it was from Kung Fu Panda.
No, Audrey Hepburn.
All right, Mr. Grizzly. Oh, and a big thank you to my good friend, who I did look it up, wants to go through by Paul Joseph something.
Paul Joseph something?
Paul Joseph something.
Okay.
For helping us with our title music, which we hope that you do enjoy and that you feel is a little groovy and funky and you can get down to it.
Coolio.
It's got a nice beat and you can dance to it. All right,
Said
Mr.
every
Grizzly.
teenager on American Bandstand ever.
Mr. Grizzly, roll the credits, please.
Good morning, this is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and The Pepper Master, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
All right, kids, I did find it for you.
I see it.
Prancercise, a fitness workout. Here we go.
No music. There's no sound. But she's prancing, so we'll go with that.
Prance, I say. For a while, for about a month and a half, it was the thing.
I don't recall that at all.
She even has the ankle weights on.
I'll see you.